What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Ryan Pineda Show. We talk all things money, real estate, and entrepreneurship. And in today's episode, we are going to talk about the top 5 ways that you could start saving money today. So if this is your first time to the show, welcome. I'm glad you found my channel. We're doing something a little bit different today. In the majority of my videos, I talk mainly about how to make more money, not necessarily how to save more money. I've actually mentioned that you can have 2 different mindsets, either an earner or a saver. The saver mindset is you have a fixed income, so in order for you to gain wealth, to build net worth, you have to save money wherever you can. And that's true. A lot of people think that way because they do have fixed incomes. But the earner mindset is a little different. Instead of trying to cut costs and save money, they're thinking about, how do I earn more money? By earning more money, I can now save more and spend money on the things that I want. And so for me, I've always come from the earner's mindset. If I want something, I don't want to save to get it. I want to just go make more money and get it now. And in turn, by making more money, I'll save more money. But even if you have the earner's mindset, you should still be thinking about, how can I save money? There's a lot of different ways to earn more money with side hustles and other things. But if you can combine earning more money while simultaneously saving more money, your net worth and everything else is gonna increase exponentially. So for this video, I wanna talk about the top 5 ways that I personally utilize to save money. Now, as my wealth has grown, I've cut a lot of these things out because I can afford them now. So with these 5 things, I've personally done them, and they're what helped get me to where I'm at today. Back when I didn't have a lot of money, I only had one stream of income, I had to figure out, how do I save money so that I can eventually start doing other things. And it was cool because after a few years, it started to pay off, and I started to lessen on a lot of these. And eventually, I didn't have to do a lot of these things I'm gonna tell you. So don't think that, hey, these are long-term things for the rest of my life. No, they're things that you can do right now, easily applicable. They're gonna help you start building wealth, and eventually you can move on from them. All right, so let's get into the top 5 ways to save money. Number 1, stop eating out and buying Starbucks coffee. You hear people talk about this a lot, but very few people actually implement it. So my wife will tell you, when we first got married, we didn't have a lot of money. And anytime she went to Starbucks, I'd kind of get mad at her. For me, I just couldn't believe that she was gonna spend $5 on a coffee when we can go make it for 30 cents. And because of that, we really stopped going to Starbucks. We would make our own coffee at home with a Keurig, and the funny thing was, we wouldn't even get Keurig K-Cups because those were too expensive. We would get one of those reusable K-Cups that you pour the grounds into because it's cheaper that way. And that was how we did coffee for years. On top of that, with eating out, we'd make a lot of our food. For us to go eat out, it was always a treat. We'd eat out after church on Sundays, we might eat out on a Friday night, but other than that, we were not eating out. I was meal prepping a bunch of food for us, and we'd eat that. And the funny thing was, even when we ate out, it was always something that was like 20 to 30 bucks all in for a nice dinner. It's not like we were going to Ruth's Chris and spending $100. I could count on one hand how many places we spent over $100 on in the first 3 or 4 years of marriage. We may have did it on Valentine's Day, but other than that, we were always spending $20 to $30 a dinner. If we spent 40, that was pushing it. And I'll tell you what, when we were doing it and became a routine and a discipline, it wasn't that hard to do. Some of you guys may think it's extreme, but I'll tell you, if we didn't do that, we wouldn't be where we're at today. Not only did it allow us to save money, but it did teach us discipline of waiting. And it definitely made us more healthy. At home, we're cooking much healthier than we would eating out. I think there's definitely multiple reasons why you should cut back on eating out and the coffee and all those types of things. Second thing you can do is get a cheaper and more fuel efficient car. Now, if you just bought a new car and you have a car payment, you're kind of in a tough spot. But if you're in the market for a new car, definitely consider buying a used car that's fuel efficient. I get some people who say, well, I want to buy a new car, it'll be fuel efficient. And also take into consideration when you're looking at a car, the total cost of owning the car. If you go pay $30,000 to $40,000 for a new car that's fuel efficient versus a car that's not fuel efficient, but it's only $10,000, more than likely you're gonna save more money with the cheaper car. Your payment's gonna be way less, the insurance is way less, the registration's way less, and the gas savings probably won't be enough to cover it. So think about, how do I get an affordable, used, fuel-efficient car? Now, if you need an SUV or a truck for your job, that's a whole nother thing. But you should not be buying a big brand new truck. Go get a used one so your payment is less. And to give you an example, when I first started flipping couches, I had to have a truck. So what did I do? I traded in my car, got a 2004 Toyota Tundra. It was 10 years old, there was no bells and whistles, but it got the job done. It was really cheap to maintain because it was a Toyota, it was reliable, and I actually was able to afford buying it cash because it was $11,000. But even the payment on that would have been really small, the insurance was small, the registration didn't cost much, so definitely buy a used car no matter what. If you don't want to save and you want a car that depreciates and you want to lose money every month, buy a new car. All right, so that brings me to my third tip, house hack. So for those of you unfamiliar with house hacking, that would be renting out a bedroom, a garage, an area to somebody else. The very first house I ever bought with my cousin, we house hacked. It was a bachelor pad. I've talked about it in other videos. It was crazy, but it was the only way we could afford it. Even after Mindy and I got married, my cousin lived in one of our rooms. And for the first few years, that helped us to afford the mortgage. Now look, I understand that a lot of people don't want to house hack. You'd rather live on your own, especially if you got a spouse or a partner, but you've got to be able to sacrifice the things that you want now in order to get the things you want down the road. And so my cousin even house hacked with us even after we got married so that we could afford the payment. So if you want to save a lot of money, definitely look into house hacking. The fourth thing is to cut out subscriptions that you don't need. Now, a big one people used to cut out was cable. With how much stuff is online, cable seems unnecessary. If you're trying to save money, you should definitely not have cable. But the question is, do you have Netflix? Do you have HBO? Do you have Disney Plus? Do you need all these services? Probably not. You can watch so many great things with YouTube absolutely for free. There are so many different streaming services that are absolutely free, so you need to really consider cutting all subscriptions that are unnecessary. Obviously, you need internet. That is a necessity. But other than that, I can't think of many of these services that people have subscriptions for that are really necessary. I have a Spotify subscription. Do I need it? No, I have it because I don't want to listen to ads. I can afford to pay it now, but I definitely wasn't paying for it back in the day. The other benefit to cutting out these subscriptions is you're gonna start spending more time doing things that are actually gonna better you. If I'm not watching Netflix, I now have more time to read books and learn. I have more time to go work on my health or go spend with my wife or go spend with my kids. Many of these subscriptions are simply entertainment, so definitely consider cutting off all unnecessary subscriptions. The fifth and final way to save money is to pay down bad debt. Now, if you're doing these things that I'm talking about in the first 4 steps, you should be already saving money. You're not eating out as much, you got a cheaper car payment, you're house hacking, you're cutting out subscriptions, you're saving a lot of money. Now you need to use that money and aggressively pay down your bad debt. Now, what's bad debt? To me, it's high interest loans like credit cards. I don't think you need to go and aggressively pay down your mortgage. Your mortgage is probably a really low interest rate, 3, 4, 5%. I would not aggressively pay down a loan that doesn't cost you that much. And I'll give you an example. I have friends who have credit card debt, yet they're trying to pay down their mortgage more. They're making an extra payment, or they're making an extra couple $100 a month towards their principal. That's stupid. Honestly, that's really, really dumb. You should be taking that same money that you've been applying to your mortgage and start paying off those credit cards, because those credit cards have a huge interest rate, and it's just simple math. You owe the debt either way, so you might as well pay down the debt that is costing you more. So if you continue the cycle of saving money in all those ways I mentioned before, and then reusing that saved money to pay down your bad debt, you're gonna start really growing your net worth fast. And if you do a little cocktail with it and start figuring out how can I earn more money and get a side hustle or get a raise or get a new career, you're really gonna start taking it to the next level. And hopefully as you build up to the next level, you can stop doing some of these things that I mentioned. You can start going out to eat more. You can drink Starbucks. You can go get a nicer car. The possibilities are endless, but you're gonna have to really sacrifice if you're in the early on stages of building wealth. And I'll be honest with you guys, I was worth a few $100,000 and I was still doing this stuff. I was still driving an old car. I was still not eating out because I needed every dollar I could get to push my business forward. So you gotta ask yourself, are you willing to make the same sacrifices in order to push your life forward? It's hard now, trust me, I get it. I went through it, but I can tell you, if you do it right and you stay consistent, the reward is well worth it. But anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, do me a big favor, go hit that like button, go hit the subscribe button, little bell notification, follow me on all the socials, and until next time, take care.